In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 top automations that you can use to automate your real estate investing business using GoHighLevel. Now, this is a re-recording. It's funny, I had an hour and 5-minute long, perfect video that I did on this. And when I stopped recording, the file went corrupt and basically, I'm having to re-record it here. So I am going to kind of speed through it a little bit faster than I normally would, just because I already created some of these automations. But what I want to show you is first these 3 automations that I've built inside of our real estate investing system and how you can basically do it yourself. And thankfully, since I already did do it, we already have everything pretty much created. So you can see exactly what we do. So the first way, or one of the ways that you can automate your real estate investing business and use GoHighLevel is when a lead enters into your CRM system, applying an auto SMS to that lead that says, hey John, this is Quinn. I've been assigned to work on your cash offer. Are you free for a quick call, or does text work better, right? This is one of the texts that we use within our system. And so I'm going to first show you how we build that. Then I'll get into automation 2 and automation number 3. So the first step, right, is going to be to go into your actual GoHighLevel account, which ours is branded as New Breed Investor, since we're working with investors. However, you have access to this via GoHighLevel if you already have GoHighLevel. So basically what I did yesterday was I created this YouTube demo folder, and I was showing you guys step by step how to do all this stuff so you could see from scratch, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through what we built. So basically with this type of automation, right, when the lead enters into the system, how do we create an automatic SMS to that lead saying that somebody's been assigned to work on their offer? Now, the cool thing about GoHighLevel, and one of its main value propositions, is that you can basically pull leads from any source. So whether it's a Facebook ad, it's a survey or a form on your website, or you're running Google ads or anything like that, as long as you use the GoHighLevel survey or the GoHighLevel form, which you can embed on any sort of website or any sort of funnel, you can basically pull that data and that lead into this system. So basically what we did yesterday was we explained kind of what a trigger is, right? And a trigger is basically what needs to happen in order for the action to occur, right? And so what I went through the process of showing you guys was basically how we can pull our survey, our Facebook lead form, and our, just a general form into an SMS that says, hey Quinn, or hey John, my name is Quinn. I've been assigned to work on your cash offer. Are you free for a quick call, or does text work better, right? So basically all I did, just to show you guys how I did this, is these don't come out of the box like right there in the trigger section. So you have to go to add new workflow trigger. And then the first one that I had done was the Facebook lead form. So we are actually doing some experiments with Facebook lead forms. I'll talk about them more when they're fully developed. However, if you look at Facebook lead forms here, basically what's cool about GoHighLevel is once you link your Facebook business page to this GoHighLevel sub account, this will automatically pull in leads based on their form submission. So if a lead sees a form on Facebook or an ad and it's for a cash offer, basically all you have to do is click save trigger, and it basically sends them, it would send them this text now, right? So it's really that easy, okay? And then you're going to go to add new workflow trigger, and you're going to type survey, and you're going to basically leave it as survey submitted. The only things that I explained a little bit more in detail yesterday was just that if you add a certain filter, right? So let's just say the survey is, and then it would have, let's say you had multiple surveys, you could basically filter and create automations based on specific surveys or specific forms, right? So maybe with Google Ads, you have one approach, and maybe with Facebook, you have another. You can use this filter here as long as you have a different survey for each of those systems, and it'll link it directly to whichever survey you have here. So you have your Facebook lead form submitted. So when this happens, then there's a text, since we already had this built out. And then when a survey gets submitted, the text would also go out. And the other probably the last thing would be a form. And so it's the same logic here, that if you choose a filter and you do form is, then you can choose one of the forms, and then basically whatever form you choose has to be submitted, and then it would create the SMS. So once you create these triggers, right? So whether someone submits a Facebook lead form or a survey or a form, they're going to be routed to this SMS, right? And you can also do all kinds of other automations, right? You can assign them to a user. So maybe, like, I'm just giving you guys some ideas. So, maybe this was your Facebook automation, right? And I know we have a few clients that have, they want like their best people working our system versus maybe a cold calling system where, you're the first two touches are pretty much like either VAs or people that are, just cold calling, right? They may not really understand the full spectrum of real estate, or just have that they're not the acquisitions manager, right? So I know that for our clients, they have, their top people working the Facebook leads, right? So let's just say this was a Facebook automation. So whether they submitted a lead form or they submitted a survey that you use from Facebook or a form, then maybe you assign it to a certain user, right? So you're going to assign it to, John Smith. And then from there, that could be a saved action. I obviously don't have any people here since this is a demonstration account. But basically, yeah, Facebook lead form, survey, or form gets submitted. You could assign it to a user. You could do a voicemail drop, which is very easy. You just upload your file from your computer. And just like that, that's your kind of intro beginner automation. And like I said, the cool thing is you could pull all of your lead sources and route them into this main automation as long as you're using a survey or a form within GoHighLevel. And you technically can use third-party services like Jotform or Typeform to get the leads using Facebook, Google, or whatever other sources you're using. But you would need to create a Zap, which is a totally separate video. So everything I show you in here is just going to be native to GoHighLevel. Makes it easy, makes it super simple to understand. So that's how this works. You just want to make sure it's published. And the other thing I went through before in the video is just kind of explaining the time windows and the contact management part of the system. So let's just say, for example, that you have the time window at any time. So basically what's going to happen is that messages will be able to be sent from this workflow at any time. So if a lead fills out a survey or a Facebook lead form or a form and it's 3 a.m, they're going to immediately get that text. And we do have some clients that prefer that the lead gets an immediate contact for that first message, and then they separated the additional parts of their follow-up into specific time windows. So if you do have it at any time, it's going to go out immediately as soon as the system receives it, which should be within 5 to 10 seconds of submitting it. And if you choose specific time, then the actions, right, which are going to be these, everything below here is the action. They're only going to take place within the time window that you set. So maybe, for example, your first message you send is immediate. That way, if that lead is up filling out a form, they're still getting a contact. And then, for the secondary follow-up messages that would more likely be a human, you would want to probably put those within the normal business hours that you operate within. And that way things stay, you're not worrying about sending a bunch of messages to people, 5 days after they filled out a form, like early in the morning or late at night, right? But obviously totally up to you. And then the last thing really to consider or understand is just the allow multiple and the stop on response. I didn't want to skip over this, but you just basically put your name here and your email. But for the contact management, for the allow multiple, basically if let's just say a lead fills out a form and they enter into this automation, and then 2 days later they fill out the form again, and you have to keep this in mind that they have to fill out their information the exact same way with the exact same information, or else if one character is different or one phone number digit is off, the system's going to read it as basically like a duplicate, except it's a new contact, right? So if you have allow multiple on, basically then people that fill out forms or submissions multiple times will get this first message, in this case, basically as many times as you want. So we don't turn that on, especially for that initial one, just because if people have already made contact with whoever our client is, then usually it just, sometimes people submit multiple inquiries for cash offers, right? So they're going to this company, this company, this company, this company, and basically, sometimes they forget which company you're a part of or whatever, right? So when they submit multiple forms for the same people, if we already had a conversation with that lead and then we resend them that initial message because they submitted it, then they're going to get that initial message again. And like I said, I don't know the exact way we have it set up with each client because every client's different, but this is just how that functions. And then the stop on response, I know that we do have, and like I said, people turn off these settings or whatever, but I like to build things where they're a lot more conservative, and you get into less kind of issues with the leads around messaging them later or sending them too much automation. I don't like to over automate stuff. I like to use the automation as like a baseline of just contacting the lead. But I do feel like, there's nothing like a human reaching out to you and that human to human contact. So basically this stop on response will stop let's say, for example, there were 2 text messages. So if we had the first one is immediate, and then let's just say this first one was sent like 25 minutes later, then what's going to happen is if this lead fills out a Facebook form, they get that initial text and they respond, then they're not going to move into this next part of the workflow because we have it as a stop on response. And this can be very, very valuable because if you do this with, like I said, if you have contact with a lead and you have this turned off, and then you're sending a message that's like automated, that's like, hey, I haven't heard back from you, it's going to potentially interfere with the conversation. So that is automation number 1. And basically I would just, call this an automated SMS, and you can build this out obviously as far as you want to build it out within GoHighLevel. This is just to show you how the building block of like, how do you actually do it? And then all you would do is just click wait. You would add, additional time in between each message, and then you can just keep building the SMS over and over and over. And just like that, you'll have a nice introductory, like automated SMS flow. So that's how this works. And now let's get into number 2. So we're going to cross this one off. So when a lead books an appointment, but they don't show up, how do we get them back on a call with an SMS, right? So this one, like I said, I wish the video that I had made yesterday was saved just because I showed you kind of from scratch and really went into detail, but I want to just get this done at this point and show you guys how to do it, and I'll trust you'll figure it out. So automation 2. And the way to create any of these automations is you're just going to click create. You're going to go to GoHighLevel automation, then you're going to click create workflow, and then you're going to start from scratch. So just because I didn't get into that, because I already kind of showed it yesterday, this is how you do it. And if you ever want to like see kind of how you can build these things, like you can just choose one of the pre-made ones, and then you can always kind of reverse engineer like what these are, how these are built. Okay. But for now, we're going to go into automation number 2, which is basically just, hey, when a lead doesn't show up to the appointment, how do we send them automatically a text that basically tries to get them back on a call, or even just gets them to respond via text? Maybe they're like, oh, shoot, I forgot, or, I was away from the phone, or I was at work, or whatever it was. Even that's good, right? So the way that this works, again, is I'll delete this and kind of show you guys how to do this. So the first thing you're going to do is click on the workflow trigger. So the whole way that these automations work is through a trigger, right? So once something happens, then there can be an action that's created. If nothing happens, the system has no idea what's even going on, right? So basically for this one, it's right here at the top, and it's going to be appointment status. So you can just leave the trigger name and do a filter. So the filter here is going to be appointment status is, and then you're going to choose no show in this example. Keep in mind there's all kinds of other statuses that you can choose from, and you can make these automations totally different than what I'm showing you, but this is just an example. So if the appointment status gets marked as no show, we can just save that, and now the system has that information to then send this text, which I already built. So I'll show you real quickly how we do that. Oops. So basically, if this wasn't here, you just click delete, and then you click on the plus, and you just click send SMS, and then I just pasted the message. But this would basically read, hey John, this is Quinn. So contact name is going to be the lead's name or the prospect's name, and then username is going to be whoever's assigned to the lead within the system. Now keep in mind, if you don't have people assigned, or you just want to avoid the confusion of figuring that out, you would want to just kind of hard code your name into the system. That way there's not you're sending a user first name to a lead, right? And then the same logic with a location name. As long as your GoHighLevel system location name is like your business name, this will work fine. If it's not, then you would want to type it in like ABC Homebuyer, right? And the way you access these is through custom values, and then you can just pull any one of these, pieces of data, right? So what we did in this message was just, hey Quinn, or hey John, this is Quinn from ABC Homebuyer. We couldn't get a hold of you for your cash offer appointment. Are you free to reschedule for tomorrow at around this time? So that was the message that I sent. I did speak about how you can use the appointment start date and appointment start time to kind of accurately show them when their appointment was and that they missed it. However, what I spoke to was just how I like to build these systems a lot more like evergreen. That way, like let's say a lead books multiple appointments or something, right? So they book an appointment for Monday, or let's say today's Monday and they book an appointment for Friday, right? And then they see the cash offer ad again, or they're clicking on other submissions, and then on later that day they book another appointment because they just think it's another company for Thursday, right? So if we pull in that data of like when the last appointment is, there could just be confusion, right? And these are very rare scenarios, but like I said, I like to keep it more like, can we get the engagement, right? Instead of, can I tell them all the specifics of like their property or things like that and try to automate it? I'd rather get the engagement and then have, good, like people that really understand real estate and know how to work these leads, like jump in when they respond, right? Versus kind of saying something that's like inaccurate. So this is what I came up with just on the spot. Obviously you can change it however you'd like, but this is basically this automation. And then same logic here applies. You'd want to make sure your time windows are set up correctly, as well as your contact management. And that's pretty much it. And so basically, how do we actually like tell GoHighLevel that the lead didn't show up, right? Because, it's not like we can just call the lead or something and then they don't answer and then it like just does this automation. We have to do something in this specific example. In the other example, the lead does something, which is why it's a great automation, because it's, independent of you or other people having to manually do it. It's like the lead is being served ads, they fill out a form. Since they filled it out, they're getting the automation. So they're almost self-creating their own automation. But with this one, this is an internal automation that you or your team would have to trigger, right? Which is, hey, this lead didn't show up. So how do we actually, how do we actually trigger this, right? So what you do is, like, let's say that there's a contact in the system. So the lead fills out the form, which I'm just going to add as my name. So testing, and then we're just going to put in a number here. So basically when we save that, right, as a lead, when the lead books an appointment, right, via, like with our example, we run paid ads to a booked call funnel. So leads book themselves in 99% of the scenarios. Sometimes our clients manually book them and stuff, but usually clients just, they're just doing it. They're not like scheduling it all, doing it perfect in the system, right? But basically the way that this works is, let's say the lead books an appointment. So I'm just going to self-create this appointment for the lead, click add new, and then basically let's just say they wanted to book for Friday at 9 a.m. and we just booked it, right? So maybe I talked to them or something and just said, hey, so I noticed you didn't book an appointment. Do you have time for us to come by and check out the house or whatever it is? And they're like, yeah. And then you just go into the system and do this, right? And then we have automation that already sets all this stuff up. So that's why this went out. I didn't already build this in what we're showing. So what I want to show you now is this automation. So we just built the, hey, if the status is no show, then we want to send them a text, right? And then, let's just say, for example, you can do some other cool stuff too. So like, let's say that lead, you can wait for a specific condition. So let's just see if, like, for example, if this lead responds. So basically when we mark the status as no show, we send the lead a text that says, hey, are you free to reschedule? If that lead then responds, right, which is what I just did here, you can set up a internal app notification or SMS to yourself that says, hey, Quinn, which would just be like the custom or the contact first name. So it would be like, hey, John just replied to our rescheduled text. See if you can get him on a call or rescheduled, right? So basically what would happen in this automation would be the lead gets marked as no-show. We send them a text, and you'd probably want to wait, right? So like, let's say, for example, the appointment's at 9 a.m. You call them at 9 a.m. You send them a text, hey, we're giving you a call. They don't answer. You send them, or you do another call, and then they don't answer, and you do like your third call, and no one answers. Then, you probably don't want an SMS like immediate, but maybe it's up to you. I'm just going to kind of show you what you can do. So if you wanted to wait, like, let's say 5 minutes, maybe you want to give them, some grace around, like, maybe they're running behind or whatever it is, right? You can put this as long as you want, but basically what the automation does now is when the appointment status is no show and we wait 5 minutes, then we send that lead a text. Then we wait for that lead to respond, and if they do, then we're going to text our team member, hey, this guy just jumped back in after missing the call. Go see what it's about, basically. So how do we trigger this now to be put into effect? So let's just say you have your test lead here, which we do. And then we have our appointment, right? So this guy booked for 9 a.m. So what would happen is, let's say it's the 9th at 9 a.m. You call your 3 times, no one answers, no one responds to the text. You wait, 4 or 5 minutes, no one's there. Maybe you want to wait 10. It's up to you guys. But when you want to mark that lead as no show, you click on this pencil and you click on additional preferences, and you're going to choose appointment status is no show. And now we're going to save this appointment. And you should see that automation will now get triggered. And these, the reason these messages aren't sending is because we don't have a number on this demo account. So if you're wondering like, oh, is it actually working? Yes, it's working. It's just, there's no number. So basically after, this timer here of 5 minutes, basically, it's going to send this SMS. So we'll catch up to that in a few minutes when we actually finish up this third one, and we'll put everything together. Okay, so this one's basically in effect right here. I think I could actually move. Oh yeah, I can move it. So let's move it. I'm going to just force him to the next step. And I don't know, I've never actually done that. So let's see what happens. Let's see. It's probably going to, there it is. So, hey, Tess. So this is pulling this name. Hey, Tess, this is from, and this is our business name for this product, because this is where we do the product. But this would say, hey, Tess, this is, and this is blank as well, this little space here, because there's no one assigned, but it would say, hey, Tess, this is Quinn from ABC Homebuyer. We couldn't get a hold of you for your cash offer appointment. Are you free to reschedule for tomorrow at around this time, right? So that would go to the lead. And then if that lead responded, then the next part of that automation would take into effect, which is basically, send that SMS to your acquisitions manager, whoever's working the leads, and just say, hey, jump back in here, right? So that one's complete. So now this is personally my favorite one. So basically, GoHighLevel recently created a new feature, which is video tracking. So you can basically track people's view percentage on your funnel or website as long as it's built within GoHighLevel, and you can create actions based upon that view percentage. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a lead fill out like their name and email, right? And I think I can actually show you here. I might as well just do it with you. So let's just say, for example, here that this is like our snapshot or our funnel that we use with clients. So I'm going to swap this survey out because it's too long to fill out for this little example. So basically yesterday I made a simple form here, and it's just name, first name, email, and phone number. Okay, so let's say somebody comes to this page, right? You send them from an ad to this page, and then on the second page, right now we have a schedule page because that's how we built our system. But let's just say you want to use some video to like get better leads. So you run an ad, people fill out their first name or even just their email just so you get them in. And then from there, if you add a video here, right? And if you choose this video, so I'm kind of showing you and explaining to you. If we go to hosted video here and we select a video, basically what's going to happen is we have these features here for the playback controls. And so what we can do is we can basically find out how long people have watched the video, right? So let's say, for example, the autoplay, I like to turn this off, and then I like to turn all this stuff on. That way people can actually just, watch at their leisure, right? So basically when we turn this redirect unregistered visitors, we can take them back to step 1, and you'll see what happens here. So if we go to save, and then we go back here, so this is what's going to happen. So let's just say, for example, this loads up. Okay. So now basically we're running an ad. Okay. And this could be Google, this could be Facebook, this could be however, right? And then you take people to step 1. This is where you get their information. And then you have a step 2, which is in our example, is a video. But usually we have like a schedule page here, right? But basically, this is me. This is one of the ads for our system. But basically, once this lead fills this out, they're taken here. And then we can now track how long they watched this video because they opted in. So I'm going to show you how we built that automation. It's really powerful. So if we go to YouTube demo, which is where I built this, and went to automation 3, we have this video tracking trigger. So I'm going to just delete this so you can see how we did it. So if we go to add new trigger and we type in video tracking, and then we type in or choose add filters, we can choose video duration percentage, and we can choose greater than or equal to, and let's just say 80%. So if somebody watches a 5-minute video at 80% or more, right, then these actions would start to occur. Now, in order to set this up properly, you're going to need to make sure that, like, let's say, for example, you had, I'm exaggerating so you get the point. So let's say you had 10 funnels with 10 different videos, and you're trying to track people's behavior across all 10, right? In that case, if you're going to make sure that each video is specific, right? Like you want to track video number 1, you want the metric for that specific video. You're going to need to make sure you choose the proper funnel, right? So is any of, and then you would choose like what that funnel is. And then you would need to make sure that you choose the video specifically as well. So I only have 2 because it's just a demo account. So this is telling the system, hey, when somebody in this funnel like watches this video, and then now we add the at percentage is greater than or equal to 80%. Now we basically have told the system, hey, like this is only for this funnel and this video, right? If you only have one video, you don't have to do that because there's only one video and there's only one piece of data that it's pulling from, right? So this would be fine setting it up like this since I only have one video uploaded and that I'm driving traffic to. You could have 1 million videos in your media library and GoHighLevel, but like I said, if you're not taking people to a funnel where people are watching the video, it's not going to get tracked either way. So it doesn't really matter, right? So we're going to click save, and then I'm going to show you the action that we created. So I just added a simple tag. So how do you tag, like if they watched at 80%, we have a tag here, and then we have an internal notification that goes to you or your sales team or whoever. And this would basically just say, hey, John just watched at 80%, like follow up with this lead and get him on the phone, right? Because now you have something to talk about. And then what I also did was build an SMS. So, hey, Quinn, or hey, John, this is Quinn. I noticed you had checked out some of our video about how we calculate your cash offer. Based on what you saw, do you think our cash offer program will work for you in your situation, right? So this would be based on, they would watch at 80%, they would get tagged, the sales team would get notified, and then the lead would get a text. Now you can throw in a delay here. I think I did, but because I didn't want to make you guys wait and watch the delay, I just removed it. But you'd probably want to add a delay of like 5 minutes. That way, you know, if they watch the video, they're not getting a text while they're watching it like, hey, I noticed you're watching the video. I mean, you could do it however you want, obviously, but this would be kind of more natural, I think. So anyway, that's how you would design it. And then the other cool thing that you can do is you could add this to a note as well. So you could just say, hey, watched video at 80% or more. That way it's in the notes, so you have that as a reference, even though you'd have a tag. You know, some people just, you know, would want that as a note as well. So you can do that. And then the other cool thing, this is more advanced. I'm not going to like do it on this one, but just so you guys can see, you can technically build a condition that tracks like all four, like let's say you broke down 100% view time into percentages of 25. So they watched either 0 to 25 or 25 to 50 or 50 to 75 or 75 to 100. You can do it. I like to show you guys this stuff. So if we go to conditions here, we can do video tracking, and then we can do video duration, and then we would do let's say equal to, so we would do less than or equal to 25, right? And then you would add another branch, and you would do video tracking again, and then you would do video percent, and then you would do less than or equal to 50, and then you would do video tracking, video duration less than or equal to 75, and then workflow or video tracking, video duration is less than or equal to, you could do 100 right there. And so just like I said, I like to show you guys different things you can do. These aren't necessarily all that practical or useful. It's really just if somebody watches maybe more than 40%, you should track them or something. But just so you guys see here, so if we go to condition, we could say watched at 25%, and then we could do watched at 50%, and then we could do watched at 75%, and then watched at, these would basically be, you know, 75 to 100, and then this would be 50 to 75. That would be the actual, like, what's actually happening. And then, okay, and then you can actually tag, right? So you can create tags based on different watch percentages. So like if this one was watched at 80%, just based on the example, this would obviously be moved, move all actions from here, and you would technically put it right there, right? So this would function perfectly as is. I don't like to add conditions and things like that aren't essential. I just like to show you guys, oh, wow, you could do this. But, you know, when it comes down to doing it and the practicality of it, if you're driving a good amount of traffic, it could actually be useful. But just to show you guys. So this should function as is. It should function well as long as it's less than or equal to 100. So I think I would have to actually add a specific condition as well to make it a range. So I would do video duration is, let's see, I think greater than or equal to. So I would have to do that on all of these, right? Because less than or equal to would just be like, I don't know, it may overlap. So you may have to get even more specific where you say basically the video percentage is, you know, between 0 to 25, which is what I just did here, right? So it's less than or equal to 100, and it's greater than or equal to 76, right? So you could, like I said, you could do that. I don't like to do those things unless I'm really going to use it, but I just like to show you. So I'm going to move this up here, and then basically, yeah, just delete those little branches. But I like to show you guys that stuff. So let's put this into effect now so you can see how this works. So now that you understand, okay, so when this contact gets added, they're going to get tagged, you know, with this 80% tag, and then they're going to get a text, right? And we would obviously usually delay this in normal time, but, you know, because we're demoing it, I don't want to like make you guys wait. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to open this on an incognito window, because since I'm in the CRM here, it's going to allow me to like view this video without getting redirected. If you remember, we redirected visitors that didn't register. So you'll see if I click return here or enter, see how it just rerouted me without doing anything. So if I tried to get onto this video, like I can't watch it. It just hard routes me back to the first page. So this is how you can make sure people are getting, you know, registered, is if you basically block it. I don't know if I'd recommend that just for the sake of tracking everyone, just because if you have email follow-up and, you know, you just got their email or something and they use a different computer, a different device, and you're like, I don't know. So I would just definitely, just when you're driving traffic, drive them to an opt-in page first, and then that's going to be the majority of your traffic anyway, unless you have some huge brand or something where people are just constantly checking out how to sell their house, which I highly doubt. So, and even if they are, getting that video link is like, I don't even know how they would get it, right? So anyway, basically we're going to test this out. So I'm going to put in, you know, test leads information, and I'm going to submit it. And then what's going to happen is I'll be taken to page 2 where the video is. I'm going to watch the whole thing, which would be more than 80%. And then what should happen is inside of here, we would see like the new contact, we would see a tag, and then we would see a text that would go out to that hypothetical lead, and that'll conclude the video. So we're going to put in testing 2 at Gmail, and then let's do all right. So now what's going to happen is if I click submit, I'm going to be taken to the video page. Like I said, now I'm going to watch the video. Oh, I think I know what happened. Hold on. So you have to make sure that since I didn't do this, since I did it yesterday, I did what I'm about to show you yesterday, but I didn't do it today. So you got to make sure right here, this form goes, if you click on the form, it needs to say go to next step in this example, or you can use website URL, but you would need to pull what the secondary website URL is, right? So in that example, it was redirecting me to a website URL, which was the same as this. It was the same page. So now this will work. So we will see that second lead in though, because I did submit the form, but it shouldn't be tagged, right? So no tags, so that's good. So we got to do this again. So testing 3. I wonder who has these emails. They've probably gotten a ton of emails. Okay, 310. Let me just make sure I'll just do all 5s. Okay, so now this should take me to the video page. Oh, I think I didn't refresh. Let me do it one more time. All right, so let's just get this a new link, even though it's the same. Sometimes that thing gets clogged up. All right, testing 4 at Gmail. I don't think that's a valid zip code. There we go. All right, this should now take me to the step 2. There we go. So now you'll see basically here, right, that I'm going to be in the system. So there's the new lead. There's no tag, right? So watch, I'm going to mute this so that I'm not yelling at you. Okay, so this is a 25-second video. You can see here, this is one of the flips that or wholesales that we got from the system. I wonder, actually I skipped, so let me not touch it. But I wonder if you skip how that works. You'd have to do a bunch of tests to figure it out, but let's just see. This time I'm watching it fully. So I would say that's probably the 80% mark right there. Okay, so there's the video, and then from here, now let's refresh and see if I got that tag. There it is, watched video at 80%. So now if you go to that lead, you're going to see a text. You're going to see, I think, the original message we first built, which was like, we've been assigned to your offer, right? So we built that on the one. And then, hey, this is Quinn. I noticed you checked out some of our video about how we calculate your cash offer. Based on what you saw, do you think our cash offer situation will work for you, right? So now you can see as soon as this person opted in, you can start to see their activity on the page, right? So the only last thing I'd recommend is if you do test kind of this type of a funnel, that you just add a booking or like a call button here. You could actually merge it into one, but I would add a button that takes people to like a step 3 where they can book a call, or you can just put the calendar below. Either way, you wouldn't want to just lead into a video and that's it, right? You would want to maximize it. So maybe you add a button, and then this button just takes them to a calendar, right? Or like I said, you could technically just add a new section here, or add a new row, and you can just move this here, and then you can just do calendar, and you can put it right below there. Okay, and that way you can see if somebody watched this video, right, and they booked an appointment, and you can see like, oh wow, they watched the video at 50% and then they booked an appointment, right? You just need to make sure this is a real video or a IG formatted video, so it's not like the best fit. You would want like more of a traditional video here. And then, yeah, you can use that. So hopefully this was super valuable. These are 3 cool little automations that I just came up with. I mean, we use them, but I just wanted to share them with you guys. Hopefully they're valuable. If you're a real estate investor, you want to work with us, you can click the link in the description, and would be happy to connect with you and see if we can assist you in finding some off-market deals. And yeah, if you are watching the videos and you like them, just give them a thumbs up, support them, and share them with someone that may need them. And I'll see you in the next video. All right, peace.